Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. The CDL has confirmed the entire format and schedule for the full CDL season. Lots of positives in here, 5 majors, we know all the locations, we now know all the dates, but also all the matches have been confirmed for the entire season. So we already know when OpTic versus Thieves is going to be, but OpTic versus FaZe, unless it happens at Major 1, we'll have to wait until January the 29th. Very much into your thoughts and comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that one. Loads to dive into today, including Minnesota Rokkr with a massive and really cool announcement as well from their front. We shall see in a second. Firstly, some positive news, can you believe it, with regard to Modern Warfare 2. We saw a while ago the Grand Prix map, the Singapore Grand Prix map, the Marina Bay Grand Prix map was talked about in very high esteem by many of the CDL pros, and they were, well, certainly hoping it was going to be in the real game. Turned out it was meant to be in the beta. Didn't happen because we believe there was some sort of conflicts there. This was shortly before the Singapore Grand Prix itself was actually meant to happen. We wonder whether there was any kind of issues with copyright with certain things they were using on the map they didn't have the rights for. Who knows? But apparently it's going to be playable at launch. They've resolved the copyright issues. I was really hoping they wouldn't just can the map. You know, I was thinking, you know what, it's typical, isn't it? The pros play the game. This is before the beta. Played this map and thought, yeah, this might be one of the best for competitive. Turns out for whatever reason it can't even be in the game. Turns out it can and it will. So that's certainly a good sign given the fact that maps are still, to me, the biggest question every single year in Call of Duty. This just quickly because there are going to be Twitch drops for the upcoming launch of Modern Warfare 2. Any streamer that has the drops enabled when the game launches, you can get drops from your Twitch account. Pretty interesting. I don't think this is particularly indicative that, okay, the CDL's going to move to Twitch or anything, but we still have no idea about that for the upcoming season, whether there is a renewed YouTube deal, whether Twitch is an option. So just want to keep your eyes, and I thought I'd keep in mind. This also from the Ghost of Hope, right? Because the Major 1 is on December 15th. Season 1 Reloaded is on the 14th, right? So he's hoping and he reckons that potentially ranked play is going to happen with Major 1 to kind of coincide there. This would make a fair bit of sense, at least if this was the case. It's not being launched in February again. Then again, would we like to have ranked 1 week straight away with the launch of the game? Yes, we would. The fact that it's still going to be a month and a half until ranked is disappointing, but in fairness, this is probably the way to do it, right? If you want to launch ranked play and get people interested in competitive, this is how it's done. You do Major 1, lots of hype around it, drop ranked at the same time. That's the way it happens. So hopefully they actually do that this year. Ghost of Hope may just be kind of wishful thinking, but I think that actually makes sense. So they probably won't do it, but maybe they will. So definitely wanted to dive in a second here into the big Rokkr announcement that they've done, which is really cool. I think they've been working on this for quite some time to effectively do these online qualifiers in a LAN environment, at least some of them over the course of the year. And these are the details we already had back on the 20th of September when they confirmed that, yeah, new format, new city hosts, more events when they were going to do the launch event. Well, it's effectively December 2nd is the start of this season. December 15th also is when the Major is going to happen. Major 1, the Pro-Am event, which is really cool. That's pretty much all we knew. We knew that Boston was going to return. We heard that it was going to be OpTic Major 3, New York Major 4, but nothing else really after that. So we have got a lot more information today. Confirmation that May 25th through to the 28th will be Major 5 in Toronto. I certainly thought Toronto and the fans as well put on a show this past season. So many returning kind of hosts, right? We have New York, Toronto, and OpTic, Texas, all returning for the upcoming season. Only Boston is effectively a new one because Major 1 is league hosted in Raleigh where there's no city. So pretty interesting, right? There's some organizations, even, you know, FaZe, right? The world champions in 2021, even LA Thieves, they won. They're not going to be hosting an event. Unless, of course, you consider Champs in LA to be the home event of LA Thieves and LA Guerrillas, as you could argue it well is. But yes, Toronto hosting another Major 5. This was rumored before, but has now been officially locked in and confirmed. It's going to be, well, tickets, venue announcements, all this type of stuff will be confirmed in due course. So yeah, venue and all that type of stuff, not exactly guaranteed. Probably the same place it was last year. I thought they had a good venue last time. Might be a little bit of a different story. But yeah, Toronto hosting another Major next season. Pretty cool stuff. That left the question as follows: Raleigh, Boston, Dallas, New York, Toronto. But the CDL rather quickly went on to confirm the dates for these other ones with the following announcement. Here we go. 2023 season schedule. This is how it's going to work. 5 majors. In fairness, fairness, I was hoping that they might stretch to 6. That was probably wishful thinking and a bit too much to ask, just because the season is still going to be relatively short. Yes, it's starting much earlier, which is a great thing for the actual potential of our league, but at the same time, it's also going to finish early, right? We have 5 majors. We have no pointless mid-season break, thankfully, this year. So you can see the dates here. We already knew pretty much these dates, apart from we didn't officially know, I believe, the dates of certain qualifiers and LAN tournaments throughout the season, but it could be expected. Major 2, early February, Major 3, middle of March, Major 4, middle of April, Major 5, middle of May, and then champs in probably June sometime. And I think this makes sense, given, in fairness, usually the way the CDL season works is that when it comes down to, you know, July, August especially, certainly July, a lot of people are watching regular sports. The interest in the scene kind of dies down there before champs usually happens in August. So this season they're doing it earlier. I think it's a sensible decision for the league. I just wish the league could still be a bit longer, right? But, you know, it's work in progress, and this is still a good step in the right direction. So as you guys can see, there's no pointless breaks. Usually the major happens, couple of weeks off after the major, 1.5 weeks off really, then straight back into the qualifiers. Yes, the qualifiers are still online. I expect that to be the case for a long time, but Minnesota Rokkr are trying to do their best to effectively either prevent that from happening in the future, or at least try and give the fans more chance to watch great Call of Duty, because in regular sports, you don't just get to watch in person at the tournaments, you get to watch all the regular season matches as well. You get to go along to the venue, and of course doing it online doesn't open that possibility. Rokkr want to make it happen, and as they confirm right here, in-person Call of Duty is back in Minnesota. The plan is that effectively the Minnesota crowd, despite not hosting an actual event themselves, will be able to attend in person the online matches. I guess the online matches here are probably going to be done on LAN in person between select teams. They have a couple of different dates they're going to do it, not every single major, but they're doing their own home series during the season. So I thought really cool stuff. They let me know about this a little bit in advance as well, so I could kind of prepare this video to come out about a pretty good time. But yeah, these are the 2 dates. It's Saturday, April the 1st, if you guys live locally. That's going to be Florida and Los Angeles Guerrillas. And then Saturday, May the 6th, it's going to be London and Boston. So look, makes sense. It's really cool stuff. This is kind of what the CDL hopes their events were going to be when the CDL started, where the teams fly out and just play matches against each other for a weekend with no winner. But it's still pretty cool, right? Because we see a lot of this stuff happen online, and that they've got kind of, well, they've made it happen with the CDL, and these teams have agreed, in fairness, because I think it's interesting really, because like, let's say you're Minnesota and you ask these teams, are they going to be like, yeah, sure, let's do it? Or are they going to be like, hang on, we're going to your venue in front of your home crowd to, potentially be at a disadvantage in that sense? But I guess these teams thought, you know what, it's good for the sport, it's better for the fans, let's make it happen, right? So yeah, if you guys are local to Minnesota, instead of flying to an event, you can attend on these 2 respective dates and at least see Minnesota play 2 matches, I guess. This already implies they're looking at this, hang on a second, Minnesota already know which teams they're going to play on which day, and I'm pretty sure there'll only be 2 games happening here, just because they might not have been able to arrange getting Florida to play Los Angeles Guerrillas on the same day, for example, just because of the way the schedule was going with the teams and matches they had to play. But yeah, as Chrome points out right here, 4 qualifying matches will be hosted on LAN at 2 separate events. So really cool stuff. I hope more teams jump on this bandwagon in future, because online qualifiers are probably here to stay, but the more teams that do stuff like this, the better, because it gives fans more opportunity to engage, and also just gives us more LAN Call of Duty in general that the CDL aren't seemingly too happy or too keen to oblige on, whereas you could argue the CDL should be doing this type of stuff anyway, right, and it shouldn't be on the teams to deliver the goods. But as we say, they already know who they're playing, therefore, what about the entire season? This is now confirmed on the CDL schedule, the entire season play. Definitely wanted to note in a second here the group play and the bracket format that, well, you can already see on screen right here, but this is much improved of last year's Pro at Major 1. That's a great sign. But this is the match schedule. First match of the season on December the 2nd. I know you guys probably can't see the dates on the left-hand side there, but I'll kind of read them out. December the 2nd, Boston versus FaZe, OpTic versus Minnesota, Vegas versus LA Thieves, LA Guerrillas versus Surge. That's day 1. There's going to be like 4 games a day, because there's only 2 weeks of qualifiers before Major 1 happens, and there's going to be 4 matches per, kind of effectively each team will play 2 matches per week. So there's a lot of matches, a lot of Call of Duty is going to be played in December. It's actually crazy how much there is compared to previous years, because even the Major is going to have so many matches. Well, there's like 30 matches at the Major. So these are the first matches of the season. If you guys are looking for anyone in particular, just of course some spicy ones to point out as per usual. OpTic, their second game I think is up against the Florida Mutineers, so we'll see how that goes for them. LA Thieves versus FaZe, rematch of the World Championship Grand Final. That's on December the 4th, and then OpTic's match against Thieves is also down here on December the 11th. So yeah, it's OpTic versus Thieves. We're getting that relatively early on. This is the Major 2 qualifiers as well, so this is going to be in Boston, we believe. And we can see, yeah, Boston play Minnesota their first match. There's 5 qualifiers here. This is traditional format with, I guess, 3 matches Friday, 4 Saturday, 3 Sunday, which is what they did last year. But I believe for the first Major, they're only doing 2 weeks of qualifiers, so there's 4 matches every day. So it's packed of Call of Duty, FaZe versus Surge. That should be a good one. We've got OpTic versus Boston, Surge versus OpTic, and I wanted to find this spicy one as well, which is right down here at the bottom, which is OpTic versus FaZe, the final match of the qualifier period, January the 29th. That's the first time this season we're probably going to get OpTic versus FaZe. It may, of course, happen at Major 1 Raleigh. In fact, it probably is going to happen at Major 1 Raleigh. You know, who knows how good the teams end up being, but there's a good chance that they match up at Major 1 here anyway. But still, the first matchup between the two Titans will be January the 29th if you guys are interested in that one. The other major thing that I was just talking about is the Major 1 format is now so much better. We talked an awful lot last season at the Pro-Am Classic that the format was just terrible. It was single elimination. It didn't really make much sense. The groups didn't work really particularly well. Now it works like this. It's a GSL style group bracket format. So this is for groups, just to clarify. All the groups look like this. 4 teams go into a GSL. Effectively is win 2 before you lose 2. You win 2 games, you get through Group A first seed. You lose one of your games but win the other 2, you get through as the second seed. So from all the groups, they will go down from 16 teams down to just 8 after this, and we could see some serious upsets in groups like this. I like it. At least it's proper group play, double elimination in a sense as well. No crazy dodgy tiebreakers. If you win 2 before you lose 2, you're in. If you don't, you're out. And then you go into a double elimination bracket. So really cool stuff. Last year we saw the single elim, all this frustrations, and not only that weekend in Raleigh are they doing all the groups, but they're also doing a fantastic bracket, right? Double elim bracket, just how it should be. Winners finals, elim finals, grand finals, all the good stuff. So great performance, honestly, from the CDL guys that put this together. Really big step in the right direction. We've seen them listen to feedback on the other things as well that we've been frustrated about. The Pro-Am was a major one also, that, you know, single elim, can we not get rid of it in Call of Duty? They're going to do exactly that. So Major 1 in Raleigh is going to be an absolute banger with all the Call of Duty leading up to it, but also at the weekend itself. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about how the schedule's looking? As I say, I can look through the entire schedule for the season if you want. I can even go to Major 5 and show you what matches are going to happen. Yeah, here we go. So Friday, May the 5th is going to be FaZe versus LAG and all the like. But if you guys want to find this yourself, certainly feel free to. I didn't want to go through absolutely everything for the season, but as was the case last year, everything has been predetermined, which arguably, you know, you can argue whether this is good or bad, right? Just because right now, for example, Vegas are playing OpTic, they're playing New York Subliners, they're playing up against FaZe, they're playing Minnesota Rokkr, and they're playing Seattle Surge. That already sounds like a really tough split for Vegas Legion here at Major 5, but who knows, at the time, maybe all those teams are terrible and it's an easy run, but seems also pretty doubtful. But very much intrigued to your thoughts down below. Just to mention a couple of things here on the top players of Call of Duty Vanguard. Breaking Point have been putting together the top 20, and we're coming out with them right now. So Methods was number 20, Slasher was number 19, some nice numbers right here, and the 18th player on the list came out to be CleanX, so more of this over the coming days. So yeah, 17th all the way to number 1. We will announce over the coming days 2 per day until everything is concluded, I believe, on the day that Call of Duty Vanguard officially goes live. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit the like button, tell us the YouTube gods this is a good video, and as like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you as always, take care, and I'll see you next time.